Hello students, so welcome to the class. I will start a new chapter today, that is tissues. So in this chapter we will discuss about the xylem, phloem, animal tissue, plant tissue and various other topics. So let's start with the tissue. What is tissue? We know that the living organism in this world is comprises of cells, and there are unicellular as well as the multicellular organism present in this world. In unicellular organism, the only single cell is capable of performing several functions. For example, in amoeba, the one cell is capable of doing several function such as the respiration, digestion, clearing of the cells, removing out the waste from the body. So the unicellular organism in unicellular organism, the only single cell is capable of performing the several functions. But in multicellular organism, there is a division of labor. There is a different type of cells as well as a group of cells that perform the different functions in a multicellular organism. So, for example, in animal muscles, cells are responsible for causing the movement. Nerve cells are responsible for carrying the message and signal from one part of the body to another part of the body. Nerve cell, that is neuron. And blood is responsible for the transportation of food, nutrient and oxygen to different parts of the body. So different cell perform the different function in multicellular organism. In plants, there are vascular tissue that are responsible for carrying food and water. Of course, we know that the vascular tissue present in the plants are xylem and phloem, and they perform the different functions. Both of them perform the different function. One carries the food, that is the phloem. Phloem carries the food to all parts of the plant, and xylem carry the water and minerals from the roots to all parts of the plant. So how the formation of tissue take place? Cells form group cells that need to perform a single task, often grouped together. This grouping of cells together to form a function efficiently is known as the tissue. So the group of cells performing a specific function is called as a tissue. For example, muscles and blood both are the tissue. Blood is also a tissue. The tissue cells have the same structure and they perform the same function. So there is a differentiation between plant tissue and the animal tissue. Plants do not move, so their tissues are predominantly the ones that provide the support to them so that they can stand erect. But animals need more energy as compared to the plants because they are not stationary. They move from one place to another place. So their tissues are the ones that can support the movement. In plant tissue, these tissues are made up of dead cells because dead cell can provide the mechanical strength to the plant and do not require any maintenance. But in animal tissue, the tissues in case of animals are made up of living cells so that they can move and perform several functions. In plant tissue, only certain parts of the plant can grow. The tissues present in such region and divide themselves and form a new tissue. But in animal cells, the cells grow uniform early and not only in certain region. The structure of the plant tissue is not very specialized as compared to the animal, but the organ system in the animals are highly developed that are made up of the tissues. So here the schematic diagram I have shown for the plant tissue. Plant tissue are meristematic tissue and the permanent tissue. Meristematic tissues are apical meristem, lateral meristem and the intercalary meristem. In permanent tissues, there is a simple tissue and the complex tissue. And the simple tissue further divided into parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. And complex tissue further divided into xylem and phloem. Meristematic tissue divide throughout the life, but permanent tissue lost their ability to divide further. So here let's start the meristematic tissue. What is meristematic tissue? Only a certain part of the plant tend to grow, and the tissue located in such part is called as the meristematic tissue. So the part of the plant that is responsible for growing of the plant is called as the meristematic tissue. They have the capability to divide themselves and form a new tissue. They have a thin cell wall made up of cellulose. We all know that the cell wall of a plant is made up of cellulose. Also have a dense nucleus and cytoplasm, but lack vacuoles. They have further we classify differently based on the areas. They are divided into apical meristem, lateral meristem and the intercalary meristem. This is the structure, apical meristem at the top of the meristematic tissue, and intercalary is between the apical and lateral is the last one. At the apical meristem there is a highest rate of dividing of a cell. So we will study and differentiate these three part of the meristematic tissue. So apical meristems they are responsible for the growth of stem and the root in the plants, and they are found at the tip of the roots and stem. So high number of cell divide in this region, apical meristem is the highest one. सबसे ज़्यादा यहाँ पर cells divide करेंगे apical meristem में, because apical meristem is the ultimate part of the meristematic tissue that helps in the growing of the cell, growing of the plants. Okay, so next is the lateral meristem. They are responsible for increasing the circumference in the middle of the stem and hence are found there. Intercalary meristems these tissues are present in the internode or stem region between the places at which the leaves attach. So intercalary meristem is between the apical and the lateral one. So why there is no vacuole in the intercalary meristem? Vacuoles are responsible for the storage of food in water. We all know that vacuoles maintain the turbidity. I hope you studied in the cell chapter that what is the function of vacuole. Vacuoles are responsible for storage of food in the water. The intercalary tissue do not store them. They are rather responsible for manufacturing them. So that's why the intercalary meristem have no vacuoles. Vacuole contain the sap which provide the rigidity to the cell. This provide the vacuole may not allow the intercalary tissue to divide and manufacture a new cells. अगर vacuoles होगा तो intercalary cells जो हैं वो divide नहीं कर पाएंगी. So vacuoles are not present in them. That's it. So next is the permanent tissue. The permanent tissue, the cells that are formed by the meristematic tissue often have to take a certain role in the plants, and thus they lose their ability to divide and form more cells. They can become the permanent tissue of the plants. Later stages पे जब plants lose कर देता है ability to divide and form a more cell, that called as a permanent tissue. Differentiation is what? The process by which cells of the meristematic tissue convert themselves into a permanent tissue by taking a fixed shape, size, function is called as a differentiation. Basically division ही है to take up a fixed shape, size and function. It is called as a differentiation. And type of permanent tissues are simple permanent tissue and the complex permanent tissue. सिंपल परमानेंट टिश्यूज़ में कौन से थे? स्केरेनकाइमा, कोलेनकाइमा एंड पेरेनकाइमा. बट यहाँ पर मैंने 5 डिस्कस किए हुए हैं क्योंकि आपके बुक में एक लाइन में दिया हुआ है एरेनकाइमा के बारे में भी और क्रोरेनकाइमा के बारे में भी. सो देयर आर 5 सिंपल परमानेंट टिश्यूज़: पेरेनकाइमा, क्रोरेनकाइमा, एरेनकाइमा, कोलेनकाइमा एंड स्केरेनकाइमा. So this is the structure. You have to make this structure in your notebook. This is your homework that you have to draw the structure of parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma in your notebook from the NCERT. This is very important. So what are the differences? These tissues are, parenchyma are the tissues responsible for photosynthesis and storage of food, gaseous exchange and the floating of plants. But collenchyma का function क्या है? For providing flexibility to the plants so that they bend easily. और sclerenchyma provide the rigidity to the plant. Next is, they are, the parenchyma are the group of living cell with cell wall made up of cellulose, but collenchyma are the group of living cell that are made up of cellulose and pectin, and sclerenchyma is made up of, the cell wall of sclerenchyma is made up of lignin. The parenchyma cells have a large intercellular space. You can see here the large intercellular space in the parenchyma tissue, and the collenchyma tissues have a mediate intercellular spaces, and the sclerenchyma do not have any intercellular spaces between the cells, and they have a thick walls. So here last one is the parenchyma. Parenchyma, they are found in the leaves and the newly formed branches. In collenchyma, they are present in the leaves and the stem of the branch of the plant, and the last one is sclerenchyma. They are found in the stem, veins of the leaves and the covering of nuts and seeds. So these are the differences I have discussed. This is very, very important. There are a lot of chances the differences will come in your exam, so you have to learn it and understand the concept. So now parenchyma. These tissues are dissimilar to the parenchyma but also contain the chlorophyll in them. Very important, they contain the chlorophyll in them. Due to the presence of chlorophyll, they are capable of performing the photosynthesis. And in the erenchyma, they are found in the aquatic plants. Last year 1 mark में question आया था इस पर. They are also similar in the structure to that of parenchyma, but they have the large air cavities in them. These cavities allow the aquatic plant to float in water. So the aquatic plants having a erenchyma tissue easily float on the water due to the large air cavities in the cell. This is lignin. What is lignin? The cell wall of the dead cell have a substance called lignin, in which it provides the rigidity to the cell, and lignin act as a cement for the cell because it provides the rigidity, the fixed shape and size to the plants. What is epidermis? Epidermis is the outermost layer of the cell. It covers the entire plant. It is a thin layer of the single cell but in places with less water. The epidermis of the plant can become thick in order to avoid a frequent water loss. Also, the cells are flat and they have no intercellular between them. The outer wall of the epidermis are thick and inner wall is thin. Also, the epidermal cell often have a long hair-like structure in roots which facilitate the absorption of water. The main function of epidermis is to protect the plant from fungi, water loss or any injury. So this is the structure of epidermis. You can see the upper epidermis, outermost is cuticle, center में mesophyll, upper ये आप elongated cells देख रहे हैं. This is called as the palisade parenchyma. Next one is spongy parenchyma, and the last one is the lower epidermis. Very, very important. This structure is very, very important. The structure is end with the cuticle, and you can see here the guard cell and the stomata. Stomata is a structure present in the leaves that is responsible for the exchange of gases. So these are the guard cell present in the lower epidermis. So what is stomata? Stomata is a pore-like structure that are present in the epidermis of the leaves. and these pores are enclosed by 2 cells that have a similar shape as kidney. These are called as the guard cell of the stomata, and guard cell are responsible for the exchange of gases and transpiration. So the main function of stomata is to exchange the gases and also the transpiration. Transpiration is what? Loss of water from the leaves of the plant. Here we can discuss what is transpiration. So the plant cell, when sometime have an extra water, they lose it in the form of water, evaporates through the stomata, and this process is known as the transpiration. Sometime plants बहुत ज़्यादा एक्स्ट्रा अमाउंट में वाटर एब्जॉर्ब कर लेता है रूट से. सो ये वाटर लॉस कैसे होता है? बाय द प्रोसेस ऑफ ट्रांसपिरेशन फ्रॉम द लीव्स. सो रोल ऑफ ट्रांसपिरेशन क्या है? एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस. Exchange of gases, plant absorb carbon dioxide and releases the oxygen through the transpiration. Opposite process होती है, normal process से opposite होती है. You can here see the plant absorb the carbon dioxide instead absorbing the the plant absorb the carbon dioxide. It is the right process and releases the oxygen through the transpiration. So it prevents the plant from overheating also. The leaves absorb the sunlight during the process of photosynthesis, and some of this is used in the photosynthesis process, while the rest is radiated as the heat energy. Also we know that the absorption of water causes the cooling of the surrounding areas. Therefore transpiration keeps the leaves cool. Like in ours, perspiration, like in human beings, perspiration take place, removing of water in the form of sweat. तो क्या होता है उस टाइम पे? आपकी बॉडी कूल डाउन होना शुरू हो जाती है. सो लाइक दिस plants also have a transpiration process that makes them to keep them cooler, to keep leaves cool. So the transportation of food and water also. This is also function of transpiration. The roots of the plant absorb the mineral and water present in the soil through the transpiration, and they are then distributed in the plant through the transpiration stream. Also last one is the movement of water in the plant. As water lose in the form of water vapors, the density of water in leaves become low. So the water from the high density areas such as the roots move up to the lower density area through the force, driving force. This is called as a transpirational pull. So here I have marked some question for you. Which gas is necessary for the process of photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide is the gas which is necessary for the photosynthesis. Plant use carbon dioxide along with water and sunlight to produce a glucose and releases the oxygen. This process is known as the photosynthesis. And plant take in carbon dioxide and releases oxygen as a byproduct of the photosynthesis process. Why do plants in desert areas have a waxy coating of cutin over them? The epidermis of the cell that are found in the desert have a waxy coating of cutin over them because it prevent the water loss from the plant. Because desert area में आपको पता है कि amount of water is very less, so plants are adapted to that environment so that they can आप वो ज़्यादा रिलीज़ नहीं करेंगे, वाटर को ज़्यादा रिलीज़ नहीं करेंगे, so that water loss is minimum and they maintain the water balance to survive themselves. So water loss from the plant surface since the water is already scarce in such area. So basically कहने का मतलब यही है कि डेजर्ट एरिया में वैक्सी कोटिंग इसलिए होती है प्लांट्स में क्योंकि फॉर एग्जांपल इन कैक्टस, क्योंकि वहाँ पर वाटर लॉस मिनिमम होना चाहिए, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी डेजर्ट एरिया में वाटर अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर इज़ वेरी लेस, दैट्स वाई द प्लांट्स आर अडेप्टेड टू दैट environment. Why do branches of old trees are different than the stem of a new plant? So this is also I took from some source. Yeah. So in the next class I will discuss with you the complex tissues, complex permanent tissues, that is xylem and phloem. For today I think this is enough for you, and please go through the NCERT so that the things are much more clear to you. I have prepared some notes from the different sources so that it may be easier to understand this chapter, because it is quite complicated for you people. So I suggest you to please go through the NCERT. Thank you. Have a nice day.